Title: Remember Me. Written by Iris. Your eyes glanced all over Chuya's bloodied appearance before hearing the sound of your heart break. It was a soft sound, like a twig snapping under the weight of a stone. Your heart fell as he gave you his hat and removed his coat before he threw it into the wash. You led him to the bathroom, having him stripped, and let him sit aside while you filled the tub. You knew he was watching you. You knew he was going to tell you the very same thing he had always told you. We need to stop this. You didn't know why, but you laughed. Every single time that it had happened before, you had cried and asked him for an explanation, or even threw things at him. But this time, you laughed. This time, you desperately tried being away from him until he magically appeared at your home, shocking you to your very core at how your powers were slowly slipping off of him. You turned to spot Chia's eyes fixed at your form before a nasty frown formed on his face. You touched his cheek before whispering, "The bat's ready." He sat in the water before letting out a groan, indicating that this was what he needed before he could reprimand you and leave you once again. However, just as you were about to leave, his hands gripped your wrist, another action that shocked you, and he stared at you. "Wash my hair." You nodded, wordless before following through with it, wondering where this was going. All the other times, Chuya would leave instantly after saying those words. All the other times, he'd ensure that he wouldn't see you for another month or so, before realizing that he had never met you. You weren't a cruel person. You were just desperately in love, having uncovered an ability that you thought could save you from torment. Yet, it presented more than it took away. One of the things that you admired the most about Chuya was his hair, of how soft and luscious it was despite it being coated with blood on many days. You admired how well he took care of himself on the days that he could, and how he'd managed to put on that responsibility to you as well. You only began taking care of yourself because of him, and in a way, he had saved you. I... Here it comes. I... I didn't meet you for the first time at the bar, did I? You were quiet, but silence at an occasion such as this was admittance. I've met you for the first time an exact 3 times. When you broke the wine bottle, and we were scrambling around during a case. That's when I learned you were a journalist. And then... and then the bar. You didn't answer. I was chasing this guy, this... he leaned his head over and sighed. This guy who ran off from the port mafia with some documents or some shit. He... he found you and I thought I lost you. You couldn't tell if he was angry or just overwhelmed. That's... that's when I left you for the first time. Chuya, I left you one more time after. I can't remember everything. His eyes met yours, steady and intense. And that's thanks to you, isn't it? Chuya, you have an ability, he said, finally. An ability to make people forget you. You sat there behind him with your hands sunken in his locks. Your heart was rummaging against your chest and you bit your lip enough to draw blood. If he asked you why, what could you say? Was there even a reason why you did what you did? Despite him having forgot you for a total of 3 times, he had somehow magically returned, somehow asking for more and staying longer than he did before. It was almost a curse than anything else. The more you used your ability on someone, the less of an effect it would have each time. It was only a matter of time before Chuya figured things out. And now, he had. After the bath, he silently wore a change of clothes that you surprisingly had. He wanted to ask if this was from the first or second time he had met you, but he didn't. He turned to spot you standing a feet away, before meeting his gaze. You did that for me, didn't you? He was expressionless. To see Chuya this way broke your heart, so that it doesn't bother me. Also because I genuinely wanted you to stay away from me. You let out a laugh. I didn't fucking stay away, did I? He demanded, taking a step toward you. No matter what stupid trick you used, I kept coming back. You were the one who left first. You snapped, gritting your teeth. Chuya beat back his words for a moment before turning away. This action always melted your heart. When Chuya turned away from you because you had stolen his words away, things are different now, aren't they? They were different. He didn't leave. Yeah, they are. Silence followed a deep revelation such as this. His eyes didn't leave yours, and you stared right back at it, almost reminded him of the shoe throwing accident. He chuckled before earning a frown from you. For being played around like that, I should be the one glaring at you. He scoffed. Chuya, I love you. It was at that second he remembered something. He believed you'd leave him because he hadn't told you he loves you or even bothered to say it back, even when you had said it multiple times before already. However, at the second, he remembered that the first person to say those words before the two of you was Chuya himself. I'm not going to leave, he thought, before letting out a breath. He kissed the side of your head before wrapping an arm around your waist. Don't fucking do that again, he scolded you. I could have stayed away from you each time. But you're like a disease, you laugh. He rolled his eyes before raising his voice. Who are you calling a disease? If anything, you're a goddamn manipulator, you fucking stupid. He rested his head on your shoulder before smelling the apricot and honey attached to your skin. It was just as intoxicating as the first time. I ain't leaving, so... His voice was muffled with how his mouth was pressed to your shoulder. I... I love you too.